Oh, hello, whoever else is watching. Welcome. This is what I'm working on. Got a Tragil Volvagia from Ocarina of Time. And there will be a punchline of sorts, but just need to draw out my link. Hopefully I can make them not look totally stupid. I'm just working on getting my sketching out, because I know, like, shape and form is something that I really need to, get the perspective down and everything like that. But I'm going for a link that's rather smirking and being sarcastic in this particular instance. So I need to get a good smirk. Link, you come to town, you come to save the Princess Zelda. Who's gonna put her away? And now the children don't play, but they will when Link saves the day. Hallelujah. Link, fill up your hearts so you can shoot your sword with power. Alright, so I gotta do his hair. Children don't play. And kind of his hairline. Extend that over. I've got a long way to go in terms of drawing abilities. And that's why we're practicing. And my hope is that the jokes that I try to make are enough to entertain people so they don't focus so much on the poor quality of the drawings at the moment. It's really something I wish I had started 10 years ago, because maybe I'd be halfway decent by now. But there's no time like the present to start, so that's why I'm doing it now. So hair covering everything, can texture that so that's clear that it's hair. And there'll be more hair right there. Draw the ears a little sharper now. erase the less detailed parts and start to add detail. So get rid of the ears, so that's clear that it's hair. And I guess all of that should go away, just because we're making sure that it's clear that it's hair. I need to get some more erasers. I'm way too... I have like a bunch of pencils and I just keep using those erasers. And when you're feeling all down, the fairy will come around. Get rid of that detail. Let's do that too. It's all hair. Very blocky N64 hair. Yeah, that'll be darkened in just because that's... It's like Link's wearing eyeliner in that game. Yeah, he's doing the like wing. Seriously, he's got like the wings that people do sometimes, where they'll put the wings on the winged parts on their eyes, just for detail's sake. Because it looks pretty. The biggest part of Link's day is just getting his guy liner right. Just like his idol Billy Joe Armstrong. That's right, Link is a Green Day guy. Feel free to comment anything if you want. I assume I'm not talking to myself when it says 2 people are watching, because one of them is me, because I got it opened up on my computer so I can see myself as I draw. If that says one other person, I'm like, well, that's not me. How do I want to do this nose? His nose is very pointy in Ocarina of Time. I guess I should clean that up a little bit too, just because it's got the hair. It's not like a straight line. Or is that meant to be part of his hat? Yeah, that's meant to be part of his hat. So I should get rid of those lines. Because it's going to have to be double. I think my brother was drawing stuff like this back when he was in like 4th grade or something, and he was very good at it. I have the skills of a 4th grader. Hopefully someday, the skills of a 5th grader. A little bit darker on the lines to show that I'm making a more final version. Oh, let's see. Shading will be interesting. Start drawing. How do I want to do the mouth? Because I need a mouth that's kind of like, sassy, right? Because he's making fun of Wolbagia. The punchline is he calls Wolbagia Volvagina. Maybe a big cartoony mouth like that. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I should just try drawing a couple of different mouths. Do it on the back of this just because I'm not. I'll just use a different piece of paper. Do I want to be more? No, I don't want to be circular. What if I do the same thing, but I'm like... So same thing, but instead of showing the teeth, I just kind of show like a couple of teeth. No, that looks weird. Perspective is hard. Show that he has a tongue, You know what? This is perfectly fine. extend it out a little bit. No, that was the right amount. I don't know. What do you think, other person watching? Probably just overthinking it. It's like he doesn't need lips or anything, right? Yeah, trying to. Oh my god, that's. No, trying to add lips is not thin around the sides. And just kind of a thicker, darker line here. I think we've got a perfectly sassy Link. I always like to add a little bit of texture under the eyes. I mean, he's tired, you know, he's been fighting all sorts of monsters, and if he turns to mockery as a way of defeating them, that's perfectly acceptable. Love that cheeks. I just don't like the white space when there's no detail, you know, it's just kind of like, oh. Alright, give him the neck. See, Link's neck is about there on his eyes. So make sure it's properly, not too disturbing. Maybe about there, so it lines up the mouth. Put the punchline. Ready? Every time I try to draw, it seems like they're doing work outside. I don't know why. Probably just because I got time to do it on a Saturday, and for some reason they like working Saturdays. Ha! Volvagia, more like vulva vagina. I'm your doom, Link. I am Volvagia. Like, seriously, I don't know why I've never heard anybody refer to Volvagia as vulva vagina before, because it just seems like the perfect, like, you know, childish taunt. But, I don't know, just never seen anybody use it. Maybe they're just not as toxically masculine as me or as Link, and they're not willing to use such insults. Saying someone is feminine is not an insult. but it is funny to talk about vaginas. Vagina. Drawing collars. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of. Yeah, it's just like I want to focus on getting these geometric shapes as a sort of like. That's how you start, right? You start with just simple geometric shapes, and then you can draw around it. That's really what's going on. I'm trying to just got a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So pentagon plus two triangles, and then hexagon. Easy shapes. Another triangle. Get the shirt down. I'm not really any good at drawing my, like, I'm using a picture, right, as reference from the game. So it's still like, I've made original characters before. You can check out other videos I've done, but you know, it's like, I'm still very in that stage where I'm referencing a lot of things. Which, I mean, that's what all artists do, right? You look at a picture and then you try to recreate what you see. But in terms of actually me drawing a character, nah. This card. So that'll be. So that's his undershirt. Should be some shading. Let's do the shading now, just so I can like show part of his neck. That's the other skill I need to really get down is shading work. And shading, but less. And then nice and bright. Oh, actually, the same thing will happen here. That shades there. I don't know, that's a hell of a skill to develop. It's one thing just to draw things straight up, but then when you actually have to, like, you know, color them in right. Textures. Adding texture. Accessories, like his belt thingy he's got across his chest. And then shoulders. I'm actually kind of liking how this is coming along. I ain't about to be hired by Nintendo or nothing, but, you know, it's not too bad. It's just all about the shading, right? this side of his face is like a little bit darker. It's like, how do we capture that without going too much? So I think I'll do like, you know, regular yellow when I color this in, like here, but then sort of a marigold on the tips right there, just to show contrast, because he's a dirty blonde, Link. And I guess I gotta get his, let's see, high and shield, and oh, the ears need a little bit more detail too. So some of that. I need to go too detailed, just show that they're actual ears for hearing. And these guys, let's see. That's the hilt from the Master Sword. More geometric shapes. It needs to be further this way. Okay, so the center of the Master Sword will need to be like that. Let's center it. Centered. Like there's just so many little details to put in, and just it always amazes me the way the artists are able to figure those out. This is just small things that I don't necessarily know I would think about. It's like even the game, right? It's got like the coloring of the Master Sword, and it's got like this white kind of line that runs down the middle to show shadowing, and it's just like that level of detail. That's just, I don't even know how to, I should really take some lessons or something, or watch some other people, because that's a level of detail that I can't match at the moment that I would like to. But I guess they have actual, like, well, it was 1990, whatever, but still that level of detail. It's like they have actual computers and I'm just hand drawing everything. It's like they don't, you can't just draw lines with that, because then it's obvious what you're doing. Or you can, because it's like the way they do it that I see in the picture is that I mean, you got like a dark black part, and then you see the white lines that I drew, tiny white lines I drew there in order to try to get that light effect. It's a little bit more noticeable in this one. And then it's got like a white line running down the middle. But really what it comes down to is when I actually color this in, am I able to use the right kind of coloring? And I always outline everything in black just because, I don't know, that's what I know to do. But I can't be that specific with the markers. They kind of bleed, so it's kind of hard. So that's why I like to have everything black outlined. All right, there's the Master Sword. Probably darken that a little bit to make it more clear. The dividing lines. Yeah, it's like it does it here too, where it's like a white line that shows difference in texture. Oh, and this one is like all black. That's interesting. It's got like a little piece of the Triforce or something right there, and it's kind of gold and black. And then I gotta draw the shield, which is behind him. Link can't be without his shield, except in all the times where he is without his shield because a like or something ate it. Or it got burned. Or it broke because you're playing Tears of the Kingdom and or Breath of the Wild. Link is constantly running around with a broken shield. Or none. And, yeah, I think that's a pretty alright Link. Now I just need to do the outlines. So, let's do some outlining and see if we can make this into not a disaster. So what I normally do is I'll outline and then I'll erase the penciled parts so it's got a cleaner look to it. I was using a Sharpie to outline, but I ran out. So now I use this pen that the hospital gave me. I work at a hospital sometimes. I'm studying to be a doctor. If you didn't know that, whoever is watching. If anybody's watching and I'm not just crazy. It says two watching, so. Guess I'm just talking to myself. Which is alright. Maybe the person watching doesn't speak English. ¿Hablas español? Podrías hablar conmigo en español si es necesario. Siempre estoy intentando de practicar mi habilidad de comunicar en español con todas las personas del mundo que son hispanohablantes. Pon en el live chat si habla español. Once again, assuming that the other person watching is a different person and not my YouTube telling me that two people are watching. I did get a YouTube, or no, me and my brother were making a Twitch channel, and we got some followers just because I was speaking in Spanish and it impressed one of the people. They're from Puerto Rico. Oder sprechen Sie Deutsch? Das könnten wir auch auf Deutsch sprechen. That one's less likely, probably. The fairy will come around. Hey, Link will be saved. I want to do another comic where it's like Link uses a fairy, but it's like somehow he captured a great fairy in a bottle, because that would just be funny to me. Go, great fairy! How did you get her in that bottle? Well, less detail, less mark on this one, because I don't want to like. Texturing is everything, you know? Like, that's the difference between like an okay drawing and a great drawing, is that somebody's able to actually texture everything properly and make it look right. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna try to do that with the painting. Should I make his nose even bigger? That's probably the appropriate size. If I make it any bigger, it'll just look dumb. I don't want it to look dumb. I want it to look good. That's one of the hard parts, is I want. Oh, no. Shoot. I don't want the eyes to look good. No, there's like a little circle that I'm trying to. Yeah, see, I fucked it up on, or messed up on that one, but this one, it's better. It's just like a little white dot that shows, you know, the gleam in his eyes. It's like, that's what I want. Just gonna make it shiny. Signs everywhere, signs. Taking the scenery, wasting my time. Thank you, whoever is watching, assuming you're actually watching. Hope I'm able to entertain you. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. It keeps me going and wanting to do this. I won't color that in because I want to make sure I'm using the paint for that. That's the other thing I gotta be careful of, is like I draw on the details just so I remember that I have them, but I don't want to color everything in with black. I mean, like here, it's like I said, he's got the guy liner, but like his eyebrows are not black. Maybe I should just grab the color that I was planning to use. Just so while I'm already here. Where is it? Yeah. Sorry about that. It's just sometimes when I'm drawing, I do it with my phone plugged in. But sometimes it's not charging right. Like I poke it in and it doesn't actually go in right. So you ever had that problem where you poke it in and it doesn't go in right? Don't tell me. Maybe a little darker. You can always go darker. Yeah, that seems to be about right. It's not hard to go lighter. Yeah, the markers bleed a little, so that's why it's kind of hard to do that sometimes, where it's like I don't want to be too... Like I want to color everything in, but you know, it's not always easy. Right. So lighter color on the hat up front, and then distinguish and show texture by having a darker color in the back. That's my plan. Schoolyard bully link is basically what I'm going for. this part in black because that's how I see it in the reference material. Like this is like a light spot, right? The circly part. So I'm trying to accentuate it as being shiny. Shining signs of the sun. Try not to sing copyrighted songs because my brother pointed out to me that if you do that, sometimes you'll get the band hammer. And I've got a song in my head and now I'm singing it. Which feels like some sort of fresh hell that I could get the band hammer for, or at least get, you know, well, we demonetized you because you sang a song that's very popular. It's like, nobody's gonna listen to me singing a song if they want their fix for a certain kind of song. I'm not a very good singer. Yeah, it's easier to see now what I think what I was talking about though, where it's like you got the one dark spot on the sword, and then you get a little light section above it that just shows texturing. And climb up the sword, and that'll be the section that I don't make purple, because that way I'll be able to see better what it's really looks like. So now is the harder task. Well, I should do some erasing around certain areas where I didn't do shading. So I don't want to mess with the shading, right? I just want to get rid of any unnecessary lines. Make it look messy. Because like when you finally color it in, it doesn't look good on top. I don't want it in the hair. Like that. I'm just trying to show what I want to do, not what See, this is why I need a big eraser, because I'm just using my pencil. But you run out quick, and I've hardly even gotten through this pencil. I remember my church used to give out pencils at something called Awana. Approved workmen are not ashamed. But it was like a prize you could win was a pencil, but then it said like life without Jesus is like this pencil, no point to it, and it was just a pencil with two erasers. It was like one end was an eraser and then the other end you had an eraser. It's like, okay, cool. You know, that's a good bit of propaganda, I suppose. But then I saw somebody who ripped one of the erasers off and just sharpened the pencil as normal. I was just like, okay. But that must have taken some effort because it wasn't easy to get those eraser caps off. Like I can't just pull that off, right? It's, you know, you gotta like, or you gotta like snap it in two or something like that. Because then I guess you got two pencils with two erasers, but maybe that's what they did. Either way, they found a way to make it work, and I guess you could say that's a metaphor for Jesus. Jesus snaps your pencil in half. Ew. What's your favorite kind of car? A Volvo. I think you mean Volvo. Oh. No. What's your favorite thing to take a ride in? Oh, a Volvo. Do you mean a Volvo? Do you mean a Volvo? No. All right. Now the delicate task of coloring this in. So I think I'll start with what I said, where I'm going to try to use 2 different shades of green on the hat. That might be a little too dark. Yeah, that's about right. So I'll make the back of the hat that. That's kind of my darkening. My darker shade. What kind of green do I want to use for the front? Yeah, that's about right. I'm showing depth by showing where different colors are. Hard part, getting his hair just right. Because I want to use some yellow, some marigold. Oh, do I want walnut? Maybe a little too brown. What was the other one I was using? Olive yellow. Yeah, I think those are 3 shades I'm going to go with. Yeah. And then the primary yellow will be the, so like mostly yellow throughout there. Maybe I should, you know what? Here's what I'll do. Hopefully I'll practice a little bit. So I'll put something like that, which will be the yellow, and then I can add in streaks. And then I can add in finally the olive and want to be darkest. So that way I can better shade things in. I think that's a good idea. That's probably how real artists do it, right? Stack the colors. Let's use the yellow. Here. Put in some more of this. You all can hear me talking, right? I'm not just talking to myself. I think you can hear me talking. I obviously have my own volume on my computer turned down, so I'm not, because, you know, that's feedback. Don't need that. Well, I need feedback, but not that kind of feedback. I appreciate your feedback if you have any to give. Such as, Stephen, you suck. Stop trying, and that's awful looking. All acceptable forms of feedback. Because quite frankly, in my life, people have only ever believed in me, which means I have no drive. Because if you were to ever write a story about my life, and you were to actually, like every single movie, it's always just like, nobody believed in him. They said he couldn't do it. And then it's just like, but he was out to prove them wrong. And then it's just like, tell a story of my life. Everyone thought he could do it. And then he did. Yeah, no, it turned out all right. I was like, oh, well, that's not very inspiring. Surely we're not going to make a movie out of that. Yeah, I still want texture right now. Show which way it's going. And then I gotta. Huh? Alright, let's see how this final bit of. I'm never sure these things are capped or not. Olive goes. Because I think. Yeah. The reference picture is especially dark right there. Yeah, that's not terrible. Yeah, I think it's alright. That one does get a little bit of brown at the tips. Yeah, no, I think it looks pretty good. Alright, now for Link's very blue eyes. A little darker blue. Like sapphires. A little hard to contrast, but it's whatever. Cause yeah, I messed up. I didn't. Well, it's so hard to notice. Actually, now I think about it, I'm gonna do a little bit of. Well, I think I've been streaming 63 minutes. Primrose. Is that right skin tone for him? Is he more of a cream? Well, I've already started with that, so he's getting cream colored. Yeah, that's about the right tone. My hope is that this one is very popular when I finally make it into a short. Because this one's taken a good amount of effort. And I think it's a funny joke. And people like Zelda. So I'm hoping it'll be a winner. Or should I just be doing things for my own enjoyment, not worry about the likes and approval of others? No, I really want the likes and approval of others. Just helps you know that you're going in the right direction in terms of what you're doing. Color to make the mouth. And I think I'll go with coral pink. Oh, that might be too rose pink. Whatever. Pink. Should I put a pink streak of pink in his hair just because that's what he was on the SNES, A Link to the Past? He had pink hair. Little pink highlight. It's a subtle reference to that. Alright, his shirt's kind of white. It's gray at the same time. See, this is where it gets real tricky, right? Because I want to use the right kind of tone to match his. Because this side should be darker, right? That's like a little too dark, maybe. So, like, yeah, that's about right. So. Cool gray. And the other side, probably warm gray. But it's not really gray. It's pale lavender would work. That's too. Okay, this is also says cool gray, but it's a different color completely, it looks like. Yeah, that's good contrast. It's weird that they both say cool gray, but the caps are different. And the numbers are different, so I'm not really sure why it is that way. And it's lighter on this side. Color the whole thing cool gray. Lighter color first, and then add the accents. Sometimes you can just make it a little better just by a little extra darkness. That's kind of what I'm going for here. It's like a little extra. Yeah, that almost worked, except not really. It's alright, we're learning. Alright. So once again, the green colors I used. So I should color in kind of darker where I want the emerald green to be. And then I can add, and everything else around that will be the neutral. Or how does it look when I put the vivid green on top of that? Versus here. Maybe I want an even lighter green then. Bud green? I mean, bud green seems more right. Alright, so try doing that. Do some emerald green, dark areas. Right? Someday I might switch to doing this on my computer or tablet or something. But I gotta purchase the right equipment, and I don't know what that is. Alright, and around that, I can put the vivid green, sort of as a blended area. So that's really what I'm going for here, that I'm blending it in as we go to different stripes. Get that out of the way so that way I keep coloring on top of other pieces of paper, and as a result it's like, oh yeah, why is all my paper splotched with other colors? It's like, oh right, because I was coloring on top of it and it just bleeds through. It always looks so weird on the back, whatever you draw, you know. He's like, ah, what is that? All right, and hopefully when I go in with the bud green everywhere else, it makes a nice, I feel like this blending tool too, that it's a little hard to use. It's supposed to be able to, like, you know, get a nice mix of colors. I've used this pen a lot, so I'm hoping it doesn't dry out on me while I'm doing this. Taking the good angle. No, I don't think this is the worst texturing ever, but still not quite what you want. Like, you know, you kind of got the impression of color. Yeah, see, that's what this blender is. It's supposed to be for you blend the colors together. But I don't know if it's really giving me the effect that I want. Because it kind of, I don't know what's in this. It's like alcohol or something, and it kind of like spreads it out. No, I mean, it just kind of looks like a stain less than something that's blended well together. I don't know, it's something I need more practice with. That's good enough. Let's get some gray on that shield. That's what was mostly behind it. And brown. I'm not too worried about the shield. I don't want to put too much detail into it. Back of the shield. And some sort of brownish color. Maybe now I can use walnut. Good enough. Canonically, Link's shield is made out of walnut wood. That is a lie. I just lied to you. That is not true. I have no idea what wood it is made out of. But there is no reason to think that it would be walnut. I don't even know if they have walnuts in Hyrule. I mean, they have acorns. We do know they have acorns and apples. And pine trees. But I have no idea about walnuts. Alright, here comes the real challenge. The Master Sword. Gotta get these colors right. Because it's kind of blue, but kind of purple. Right? If that'd be too vivid. Light violet. It's not exactly vivish reddish purple. That's gonna be way wrong. Yeah. I'm not sure I have quite what I need. Sapphire. See, like that's too blue. I don't have exactly what I want in terms of colors. It's closer. Well, here the hilt is kind of gold, so let's get that done first. So that's what I'm drawing is the hilt. Right there, that's the hilt of the sword. And under the hilt is... I don't even know what color it is. Sure. Whatever. The sheath, that's the word I was looking for. It's the sheath. Good enough. marine blue quite right. It's not quite right. Dark violet. Purple mallow. Definitely not cerulean blue. Yeah, that's way off. Dark, what is this? It says dark violet light. That's such an oxymoron. Dark violet light. What? Jacaranda. Nope. So many different colors. None of them are just quite right for what I need. Well, I think the marine blue feels closest. That's kind of what I'm gonna go for. Just color in a small section and see if it. You know what? No, that's not quite right. It's definitely got a more purple tone to it. So I think I'll go with the. Which one of these was it? Yeah, I'll go with the lavender. I think that's the best I'm gonna get because I don't want to do it blue. I want it to be purple because in other media it's purple, right? Assuming I'm not talking to myself still, thank you for tuning in, whoever the other person is. Because I don't think it says me twice. Or maybe it does. If you're another person, please put something in the chat. I need to know, am I alone? Do some purple mallow. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough. I don't want it to be just pure white, but I don't want it to be like. See, sometimes the markers blend well together. That's not doing a bad job of blending together. Now that doesn't need to be yellow though, or something golden. Marigold. Lavender here, but I'm going to really color it in more just so it's got the effect. Yeah, that's something that's kind of nice when you use the colored pencils opposed to using markers, is that if you want something darker, you can just like press harder. I'm going to put some graphite over top though, just to show that it's a shaded in area. I think that's basically a good enough effect. And then I can put the lavender here. These sections. Still looks darker above. Almost. And then the blood. And how about I didn't make that too stubby? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's about right. All right. And there we go. There's my link. I've got 2 more things that I need to draw before I consider this done. 2 more panels. Probably going to be a good amount of drawing to do. That took me an hour and a half. All right, well, Volvagia, more like vulva vagina. Yeah, no, I think that turned out pretty well. Link looks sassy. You know, that's what I want. I want a sassy boy Link. Got a little bit more color right there, just to show the blending. What's going on? Maybe that's what the solution is. I was doing before is I was putting on some paper and then I was like rubbing the paper that was filled with graphite on to try to give a dark appearance. So maybe I could try that just a little bit. Yeah, you get dark with the graphite. And I basically just transferring it over to another surface. Just like that. And just like, and again, I got that appearance of like dark shading. I thought it works pretty well. I kind of like that. Didn't realize the effect I was going for, which is darkness between it. Yeah, looks kind of dirty, but you know, he's a dirty boy. He's constantly going out and fighting adventures and stuff like that. Alright, well, to the one person who I think was watching, if you were actually watching and just imagining that there were 2 people, thank you for watching. And I'm going to be done for now. Bye-bye.